Started. All right, so audio check. Hello. Hello. All right. Oh, I think you just got a notification.
Did.
Now we can pour a little remnant from last week. Some Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Well, let's smell it. My God.
I don't think we really need to smell it. We know what it is at this point. Hello. Whoa.
My God.
Feedback. Gag, 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 gag.
There's some of that if you want to try some.
Gag, gag.
Alrighty. Who we got in the chat? Oh, we got Tevin, we got Isaac, we got Solsky, we got Big Swede. Holy shit. Oh, and Tom, of course. Man, hello everyone. Tom, that is racist. Get that racist garbage out of our chat.
Is that...
It's the OK symbol.
Oh, that's racist now?
Oh yeah, apparently.
I was like, what are we in Turkey? Do you
remember
that? Do you remember that? Did you deploy to Turkey?
Yeah, once.
Do you remember in the in brief how they said that, like, you know, all the things, here's a list of things you can't do, and one of them was like, you can't make the OK sign because it's apparently offensive to them.
Yeah.
Well, apparently now it's offensive in America too.
Yes, and it was all because of a joke, an online fucking Reddit joke that some dickwads actually took seriously, and here we are.
Listen,
because this country is filled with fucking morons
and dickwads.
Yes,
giant, like the kind of wad that's like after you get diarrhea. You just like
I like Scott's response. Anyway, you were saying about diarrhea?
Yeah, the when you're like excessively wiping and then like you're in the shower and all of a sudden you're washing your ass and realize like, what's all this paper back here? That's what they are.
Oh my God.
Nobody,
that's a visual.
Nobody else?
No.
Nobody else has that shit?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Can't be the only one. All right.
And yes, Tevin, we did catch that you live in Bermuda, which is awesome, by the way. Love your territory. It's just a British territory.
Love
right?
where you live.
Yes.
It's nobody's but your own.
It's because it's not a
Nobody
state.
Nobody owns you.
It's not a country. It's not a state. Is it a province? I don't know.
I think
anyway,
it is a country.
nice
honestly.
place. For me, I thought it was like a British territory. All right, Tevin.
Whatever.
You're the man. Help us out.
I'm sure they love being called the British territory. Why don't you give them an OK symbol too?
No, because then they'll fucking ban our YouTube. Like, that's the stupid thing. Is that now I can't even like do that. Like, I can't even make that gesture because
can we do
if
this?
If somebody, yeah, we can do this all day fucking long. But if somebody like, because here's the deal, I'm gonna need a job in 2 years, and the last thing I need is somebody to get fucking pissy at me, go to YouTube and be like, "Oh look, he's making that racist hand symbol."
Look.
Look, they're all over here. Yeah. Oh, he's making that racist hand gesture, which is just
whatever.
It's dumb.
Whatever.
It's so dumb.
If you're watching this podcast, you are not worried about it.
No, that is true. Or if you're new, then buckle up. And we got knives and carrots and potatoes.
That's right.
And Tom with the with a knife in the middle. Isaac might be leaving soon to go get food. Man, this chat is active today.
Active quickly.
Indeed. All right, so we got the New York City Comic Con news.
It's your toast.
It is my toast. I know who it's gonna or what it. Shit. I know what it's gonna be.
So, Tom, how about them Cowboys?
Oof.
I understand that there's a Amber Alert out there for trying to find them boys.
Yeah, nobody's seen him. Oh no! Oh,
is the battery dead?
The battery is dead.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right, we'll fix it. But yeah, yeah, that was pretty bad. Speaking of which, well, no, we won't.
Go Pack, go!
Yeah,
they did their job.
Yeah.
Nothing. No retort from the Bronco Fett.
Will allow me to retort.
What? Or you were finished? Well, then allow me to retort.
Okay. You're gonna handle the Podbelly, as you seem. That seems to be like your thing.
Sure.
All right.
And I'll have a prepared statement.
Yeah. Oh, you missed the whole thing with the Air Force and the Navy over the last week.
Oh, I've been watching it over social media.
The sign.
Yep, the sign, and then the
one from Monday morning.
and then they soaped up the fucking truck with a bunch of flower symbols and shit like that. Yeah.
So that was.
I think I posted something on social media about the us not only getting the better of, or Navy getting the better of us with not only the football game but also with the trash talking via the signs.
Yeah, we've got a Navy unit that's like literally right across the street from us, so that we all share this big area, and they've been talking a lot of shit over the last couple of weeks.
And apparently they backed it up.
But we've had these like road signs, these digital road signs, and
oh shit! There is an Amber Alert for the Legacy of Pain.
I don't want to talk about it.
We will talk about it. Not necessarily this portion of the podcast, but we will indeed talk about it. We have lots of Star Wars stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about football right now.
Well, the 49ers didn't lose, did they?
Not yet. They're playing tonight. So.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes.
Which I won't even be able to watch. Primetime game, one of the few chances I get to watch the 49ers, and I won't be able to watch it.
Why won't?
We don't have ESPN.
You sure it's not going to be on locally? I would check.
All right.
I would double check that.
All right, maybe I will.
Present.
Okay.
All present and accounted for.
C.
3PO.
All right. We good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we
need all this good content on fucking.
Yep. All right.
Nonsense.
So we need 30 seconds to say.
Oh,
and again, audio. If either of our audios sounds weird, fucking please say something now.
Oh,
Keith. Keith in the chat.
Two NCAA teams that are 5-0 right now. I know Penn State is. Pretty sure Boise State is.
They are.
And do we care about anybody else? No.
So I saw the whole thing about the whiteout with Michigan and
Well, it was already scheduled to be the whiteout.
Yeah.
Like, it's just now it's going to be a primetime game.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I may try and sneak in up there.
Yeah.
Kate's going to be there. She has a ticket. I think she's going to try and camp out to be part of the S. But I like when we moved her in up in State College, we went to the bookstore and I bought her this year's whiteout shirt.
Nice.
So she's all set.
Sweet. All right, we good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, 30 seconds of silence starting now. To Joaquin Phoenix. I was never a big fan of his acting until yesterday.
Joaquin Phoenix. That's what JP means.
Yes, and we will expand upon that later. But until then, hello everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy.
Goddamn right.
I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
Tired.
Yeah.
I am tired.
Yeah.
Did a lot of driving this weekend.
Yeah?
Back and forth to State College twice.
Nice.
So what's scary is not the fact that I made the drive. What's scary is the fact that I'm getting used to the drive. So now 4 hours one way doesn't really feel like that bad.
Jesus.
Yeah, right? That's what I was driving back, and I'm like, it's 9 o'clock at night, and I'm coming around the city, and it's like, fuck. That went by pretty quick because I'm listening to a book and doing the whole thing. I'm like, I don't want to get used to this fucking drive. I do not want to be like, oh yeah, fucking 8 hours round trip, no big deal. Yeah, fuck that.
Because then Kate will be calling you every weekend. Hey,
yeah, fuck no. It was unique for this weekend, and I'll talk about it when it comes to our weeks.
All right. Well, what else are you going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about the Podbelly Network.
All right.
You could just talk about it rather than making me forget.
It's your thing now. That's what you do.
So we are a proud member of we are a proud member of the Podbelly Network. Please go to podbelly.com and for all of your podcasting needs. There is a plethora of podcasts that are part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com. You'll see all things Star Wars right at the top.
Yep. Number one. We're number one.
We are number one.
Still.
So yeah, check out podbelly.com and yeah.
And you will do it.
Do it. And it should be like right down on the bottom of your screen somewhere.
Yes. And also...
Where do I have to point to make that happen? Let me see. Is it here? It's there.
Oh my god.
Not so much here.
This is one of those YouTube
here.
Exclusives that you get.
Here.
Oh my god.
Look how giant my...
I don't know what's going on. But while he's fucking around on the YouTube, also want to give a shout out to all of our patrons, starting with Nick Jackson, Frederick Martin, Brady Lovin, Camille Donovan, Scott Rasmussen, which, by the way, if you don't listen to the Used and Abused podcast, do it because that's Scott's podcast and he's great.
You should get Scott hooked up with the Podbelly Network.
I've been meaning to ask Brent about that, but I'm lazy. Scott,
just go to podbelly.com or find Podbelly on the Facebook, and you can message Brent directly. Don't rely on Jason to do it for you, and say, hey, I'm an All Things Star Wars podcast supporter, and they said they sent me to you because I have a podcast, and then go from there. Go forth and be merry. But if there's any royalties or anything like that we could potentially get a percentage of, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Or at least some finder's fee or something.
Sure.
Because we also have the other potential podcast.
That is right.
Which has a great name too, by the way.
That is true. Yeah.
Our the boys that run the booth in the back have a podcast idea, and it's a great fucking name. Mm-hmm. It is a great fucking name.
Yeah, the Escape Pod, and it's like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Star Wars related, but also kind of signifies how they're going to talk about other topics beyond Star Wars.
It's the crux of Star Wars too. Like it's one of those things where it's so pivotal. If the plans don't get off of the Corvette to get on the Tatooine via the Escape Pod,
it's gonna be a very short saga.
Yeah, really.
All right.
Written and directed by George Lucas.
Yes. Technical Swede, Frank Kulovich. Who else? Don Solsky, I think we already mentioned him. And of course, our number one patron, Shotgun Mark. Thank you all. We love you guys. And if you would like to support the All Things Star Wars podcast, please go to patreon.com/ATSW podcast and support us. Anything you give is very helpful, and there are reward tiers. So please do that. In the meantime, I think what we're going to do things a little bit differently this time because we have some news, but the news is going to be a large portion of our main topic today because we're talking about the New York City Comic-Con, and that just happened this last weekend.
Right.
We got a lot of Star Wars announcements, some really surprising stuff, honestly. Like, I was not expecting to see much news. What did you do?
What just happened?
Your screen just went blank.
Yeah, my computer just died.
Your power's plugged in. Is it plugged into the wall?
Well, it's plugged into the power strip that's feeding this monitor. What did you do to my computer,
I didn't
Jason?
do shit to your computer. We just lost the chat. So if anybody
stand by
is chatting, we're not going to see it until Dave gets his shit
difficulty.
together.
What the fuck? God.
It's your fucking laptop. I don't know. Anyway, New York City Comic-Con happened this last weekend. Got some announcements. Was not expecting. So that's going to be the majority of our topic today. We're also going to go into some general knowledge stuff if we have time, depending on how long the Comic-Con discussion goes and the discussion about our weeks.
Since we have time.
Which we're going to jump right into our weeks. If you're ready, do you...
Go ahead, you can go first.
All
I'll
right.
wait for this to spin up.
Okay. So
I think there was a Windows update because fucking Windows 10, it's as bad as Windows 98. Fucking Windows 98. Get Bill Gates in here.
What was the... I posted a meme in the private Facebook group fairly recently, within the last couple of weeks, and it was something very similar to what you're saying, like, go to restart your computer and Windows updates like, my day has come, or some shit like that. I can't remember what the hell the meme was.
I don't know, but it's fucking ridiculous. I hate Windows. I hate it. Take me back to Windows 95, please. DOS 622 and Windows 95. Fuck Windows 98.
I love Windows 98.
Fuck Windows 98.
That's what I learned everything on was Windows 98. So anyway, starting with my week, you know how we talk about thrift store stuff all the time? Well, my wife Kristen went to the thrift store a couple days ago, along with my son Ben, and they found some more Star Wars stuff. So, this was actually a pretty good find. And everybody's been highly anticipating the opening of this, but I'm like, nope, not opening anything until we get it on the podcast. So,
a whole bag of stuff.
Stop peeking. So, yes, they found this.
Get the fuck out!
For $3.99 plus our military discount. So
get the fuck out!
Under $4. We got a bag that's got a ton of Star Wars stuff and some other non-Star Warsy shit. But we're gonna bust it open right here on the pod.
The fuck we are.
This was it. Goodwill. Yeah. Put it over here.
Shh, quiet, Jason.
My God, Dave just took all of my stuff. We got Bob A. Fett. So now, granted, I already did take a little peek at some of these, and most of these are the action figures, the 3 3/4 inch action figures that came out in the mid 90s. Yeah. So like your 93 to 96 to 97 figures. That's what these are. So
this
we got
a 96 Luke.
Yep. Yeah, this is the Luke that they made like super buff. Like check out those pecs. Like I fucking wish I had those kind of pecs on Luke. And we know Mark Hamill was not that buff in fucking episode 4.
All right, we got a buff ass fucking stormtrooper too.
Yeah. Stand up.
That's the kind of stormtrooper that you would have found on the fucking stormtrooper.
Yeah, almost looks like the stormtroopers from.
Is this a Halo guy?
I don't know. What is this? Yeah, there was some other shit mixed in. He kind of looks like a Power Ranger.
That's not a Power Ranger.
I don't fucking know.
The Power Rangers were more
this guy is from Shadows of the Empire, as is that Wookiee. That's that guy, Kyle Katarn, maybe? Fuck. And then this was the Wookiee. I think this was actually Chewbacca in some sort of disguise, if I remember correctly, from Shadows of the Empire.
Well, that looks like Luke.
That is Luke, also from Shadows of the Empire. He's in that fucking Royal Guard disguise.
With the Empire emblems on the fucking shoulders.
Yeah.
Fucking sweet. Blade? I don't know who the fuck that is.
That might be Blade.
Other randoms.
Help us out in the chat.
Randos. Where's Big Swede? Oh, we got to get the fucking chat up.
He was in the chat. Oh, yeah.
I know.
You got to get the fucking chat up. Maybe if you hadn't grabbed my fucking bag, you could have been getting the chat up this whole time.
You know what? Fuck off.
What is this, Swamp Thing? I don't know what this is. That is not Star Wars.
This is Han Solo with a fucking exoskeleton on.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure this was also from Shadows of the Empire.
You've got...
Actually, I don't think that... Well, whatever.
That exoskeleton may not be part of the...
Yeah.
Hey, good on whatever kid this was for fucking blending his shit. That's a Luke Skywalker.
Yep. Luke in his X-Wing outfit.
Is this a Shadows of the Empire guy? This looks to me like something from
it's like an ancient Egypt. Oh, yeah. The mummy. Some like fucking Egyptian thing-a-do. Not Star Wars.
Fucking...
Greedo.
Rodinian.
Una cuta solo.
Got a Scout Trooper. Spawn.
Rob will not shut up about this stupid fucking Spawn figure. Look, can I have it? Can I have it, please?
You sure it was about the Spawn figure or about fucking Tits McGee here?
Yo, who was she? All right, help us out. Who's the chick with the mullet? Anybody know? Strictly for the YouTube.
Two-headed guy.
Oh, good God. What the fuck is this?
I don't know. More Egyptian
Yo,
nonsense.
Get the fucking chat up, man. Come on. We can't see what
it's
anybody's
loading.
saying. What's to load? Open your fucking web browser.
Listen. This is fucking Windows over your slowest internet connection.
Yeah.
There's Darth.
His name is Darth Vader.
Look, there it is.
He's
See?
even got his cape intact.
Who's this?
Sheezer.
Okay.
The main antagonist from Shadows of the Empire.
I can't believe. See, so I went on a little. Oh, dude. TIE Pilot.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Huge.
I may not get this back.
I have a huge erection right now.
Huge erection.
Here's another.
This is not Star Wars. I don't think.
Dave, what the fuck did you do? Yeah. If only you could see what's on my computer screen right now. It's all this lodge shit. All right. All right, so chat's back up. We've got a helmet.
Oh, that's the Luke helmet from...
Make way for dark helmets.
So, hold on. We got Luke right there.
All rise in the presence of dark helmets.
Splat ow.
You got another buff Dagobah Luke.
Oh, yeah. Look at those fucking biceps. Mark Hamill did not have those kind of arms. I'm sorry. I'm so envious.
You've got lad envy.
Mhm.
You got it. That's probably Solo.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, check this
Solo.
out. A fucking keychain, a heavy as fuck
Oh my
keychain.
God, yeah, it's a metal.
That.
Can you hear that? It's metal. It's Vader on a keychain.
And a
Kind of like gold plated. Ah, good old Jawa.
it has a light in the top.
Yeah, no, you shine a light in there and his eyes glow.
Oh.
Yeah. So, all of this that we just showed you, fucking, this
in
must
one
be...
fucking bag.
Yeah, one bag under $4 at Goodwill. So, amazing.
Which Goodwill?
The one on
In
30.
Stratford?
The one on 30 over here?
God damn it, I was just in there.
Yeah, they got it on Sunday, yesterday. Yeah.
Well, it was like a week ago I was in there. About a week ago. Shadows of the Empire had a sex robot. What?
I don't remember that. The video game or the book? All I know is
I am intrigued.
Is in the book.
Sex robots intrigue me.
This guy almost boned Leia. Like he damn near
like boned her or raped her?
A little bit of both.
A little comment.
Kind of date rapey because he exhibits he exudes some like pheromone that attracts women. So it was kind of like against her will, but you know, using like a natural like Bill Cosby basically. So
dude,
nobody.
This dude is the fucking tits.
All right, I'm gonna start moving these again. Great thrift store find. Good job,
yeah.
Good job, Kristen and Ben.
It just goes to show that my skills at the thrift store are lacking.
Yeah.
Because I've been looking for something for the lodge, and I was sniffing around for Star Wars stuff, going through the vinyl records, trying to find like a Star Wars record.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah.
And which, by the way, we are drinking again this week. The peanut butter whiskey that was gifted to us last week. This shit's good, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is really good.
It's makes so much better out of these fancy glasses that we got from the Galactic Refugees.
Yep. So the only other part of my week that I had was also yesterday, I saw the Joker movie. I had mentioned this a couple weeks ago, how I was really interested. I really wanted to see it. I saw it, lived up to the hype. More than lived up to the hype. What a brilliant, fucking twisted, dark, just unbelievable movie. Like I said at the top of the show, Joaquin Phoenix acted his ass off. This was, dude, it was fucking incredible.
So what Big Sweet told me today was that it is it's less of a Batman movie than it is just a story about some fucking guy who's psychotic.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I mean, the Batman references, there's some small ones in there, but it's not about that at all. This is strictly about this guy and his fucking descent into madness. And it's this whole fucking world around him that's kind of partly created. He always had some mental issues, but
right.
You know, the bullshit that he had to go through in his life kind of contributed to him eventually just fucking snapping. And I don't want to get political here, but
so don't.
All the fucking ass knuckles out there who have been trying to bring this movie down in the media by either just review bombing it for specific reasons or trying to make up all these fucking fake stories to keep people out of the movie theaters. You know who you are, and you're all fucking pieces of shit. This movie was great. Don't be afraid to go see it. There's nobody's gonna fucking shoot up the theater or any of that fucking bullshit. And now today's big thing is now they're trying to some fucking guy who wrote and performed a song in the 70s. It was in this fucking movie. This guy was recently convicted of some pedophilia shit, like child porn stuff, which, he's a piece of shit, don't get me wrong, but they used some of his music that was popular in the 70s. It's one track in this movie. And now they're like, oh my God, I can't believe the Joker movie is using this pedophile's music. This is fucking wrong. It's like, shut the fuck up.
This is the Kate Smith thing. This is the Kate Smith with the fucking, in the 30s, she performed in a fucking play.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't write it. She wasn't fucking on a stage with a hood. Yeah. She performed in a play, and suddenly fucking 7 decades later, the political activism that is social media and everything else has to have some result. Yeah. So, you know what the result is? I'm not going to watch fucking hockey.
Yeah.
Because a franchise, well, I didn't watch the Yankees anyway, because the Yankees were part of that too. Mm-hmm. But the Flyers, who I grew up loving, that franchise and that ownership group can, well, this is the stance you're going to take. This is what you're going to try and do to, make yourself some sort of social activism. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Because now all you're doing is you're placating to an audience that you don't need.
Yeah.
You got a blue collar fucking city in Philadelphia that you have a statue out front of your building because of what this woman represented. She was a national hero.
Yeah.
National hero. No, can't play the song because some shit that they came up with in the fucking 30s. Go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Go fuck yourself and fuck all these people that feel like they're like, well, my being offended for somebody who may be offended is way more important than the art that is a movie.
Right. And I tell you what, fucking I have a lot more respect for Warner Brothers after this because they came out, they did not kowtow to these fucking whiners on Twitter and whatever. They said, we're still going to release this fucking movie, and if all of you fucking crazy media people want to like just keep badgering us over and over about it, we're just not going to do a fucking press junket. Go fuck yourselves. We're releasing our movie anyway. Piss off. And guess what?
And people are going to go see it.
And guess what? The movie broke fucking records all over the place all weekend.
If anything, it's one of those things where sometimes negative press is as good as any press.
Sure, yeah.
But fucking hell.
Yeah, and I'm glad Warner Brothers stuck to their guns. They didn't fucking bow down to these fucking angry mob pieces of shit.
That's a great... Bronco Fett in the chat brings up a great fucking point.
Yeah.
They use Michael Jackson music all the fucking time. All the fucking time.
Yeah.
He's the king of pop and his music is this music. Yeah. Well, the guy was a fucking pedophile also.
Mm-hmm. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Whatever.
I don't get sued by the Jackson
How many
estate.
millions of fucking dollars was paid out in restitution or whatever in all the civil suits that came out? If it was all just a money grab, then why pay people to shut up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, innocence, I don't know. Whatever. But what the fuck? Exactly. Big lovin'. I like what I like. I'm in the same boat. I like what I like.
Yeah, and and going back to it, like I could tell from these fucking first teaser trailers that came out for this movie that I had to see this just because it looked so fucking unique and so different. It's a breath of fresh air in this stale ass Hollywood that's gotten just too
full of itself.
Yeah,
it's too full of itself.
Yeah. So this was a really nice breath of fresh air. Great fucking movie. I highly recommend Joker. That's all I got to say about that.
I would say that, hey, do you want to see it again? Because Kathy, I'm almost positive is going to want to see this.
I'd see it again.
But if I go to a movie with you and not with Kathy, that means the last two movies I will have seen in the theater would have been without my wife.
Oof.
So
yeah, that's kind of rough.
Sometimes you got to fight some battles.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's it for my week. It was.
But hey, based on what everybody is saying, it seems like a movie that I would want to see.
Yeah. I will throw this out there. Best movie Warner Brothers has ever made with the DC property. Period. That includes fucking Dark Knight, Batman Begins, all of that stuff. Best movie they've ever made with anything DC. So take that for what it's worth.
Fair enough.
So, all right. What about you? What have you been up to this last week?
I fucking couldn't even tell you what happened last week. I know that talked about the drive back and forth to State College.
Mm-hmm.
Just shenanigans. I don't even want to get into it. Nothing bad, but it's just one of those things. It's a lot of fucking driving.
Yeah.
But we had Force Friday.
Yes.
With Triple Force Friday.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, like all the stuff they were previewing everything, and it has now come and gone. You mentioned you were probably going to get some stuff.
Yes.
So
courtesy of Big Swede, who actually was out shopping for these things because on Friday when all this was happening, I was in the city, I was going to VA appointments, and I left for State College, so I didn't really get a chance to do any like shopping myself. So
sure.
Big Swede got me hooked up, and we'll start with this guy right here.
Oh my god!
Tell me that ain't pretty.
Holy shit! This is the Mandalorian Black Series figure. Carbonized graphite. I guess they're talking about the fucking.
I guess they're talking about the cover,
the foily cover, because typically when you say Black Series, it's a black fucking packaging. This is like a gold and silver fucking packaging. So, this is
something about
beautiful.
With the Black Series that Big Swede noticed, just from people posting shit, and I noticed it too. Apparently there's like a white box.
Yeah, I've seen the white ones too.
Right, and I guess it's probably exclusive for whenever. I don't know. It's a marketing thing, I'm sure.
Sure.
Like he actually took the characters and put them like next to each other and looked at it and went like, there is no difference.
Yeah,
in
the
actual figure.
the figures themselves are the same. It's just the packaging's different.
Yep.
Well, whatever this is, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, this is the better of the one. I'm glad that he got me this one in particular. So move him aside because I got some. So talking about Triple Force Friday, he also.
Oh my god! I knew there had to be pop figures involved.
Oh, fucking A, right.
Ooh.
So we got the Mandalorian pop figure.
The Mandalorian. Oh, very nice.
So.
And he's got the fucking the gun, the fucking fork gun from the holiday special.
So before we go any further, it irritates the fuck out of me that they've decided to canonize the fucking
gun.
All the bullshit with like, oh, holiday special is canon. Shut up.
Shh. It's canon.
It's canon. So now you're like, oh well, let's just. I'm Jon Favreau, and I'm going to just like really irritate people or make people really excited.
Like
I'm going to put this weapon on there with a fucking pig sticker on the end of it.
Yeah.
Or a tuning fork or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
It was probably to shock fucking dinosaurs that you're riding on.
Yeah.
Not for.
I think that's exactly what he used it for in that animated skit.
I think it is like, whoosh, you fucking animal abuser.
Right.
Ban this holiday special because it abuses animals.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Where's Rose Tico when you need her, right?
What the fuck? So, anyway. So, my wife she makes my lunch during the day, and she'll put funny stuff on the napkins, and I got a whole series of fucking cartoons that she's drawn.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's fun. I'm not going to ruin them all now.
Yeah.
Because I want her to keep doing it because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But today was holiday special themed. And it was basically fucking whip stir standing there with a couple other characters like the fucking guy.
That is why your wife is amazing.
And and the caption is, Dave, I heard you don't like the holiday special, right? And it's basically and everything's based on a star, like it's all stars. So it's basically whip stir drawn like with the here. You know what? I'll just show you the picture because. I mean, obviously, I used the napkin because I needed to, but yeah.
You at least got a picture before.
Yeah. Well, I have a whole series of pictures that at some point I'm going to release.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, I'll give a quick preview for the audience following along at home. So, anyway, very very funny. Apropos, given the Mandalorian and the connection to the fucking holiday special with the dumbass weapon. I'm curious to see how the Mandalorian actually utilizes that weapon. Hopefully, he's stabbing people in the fucking forehead with it. Because then I'll be all about it. Because we know it has that darkness. All right, so another Force Friday release was this guy.
Oh, Cal Kestis and BD1. Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order coming out next month.
So November's going to be big.
And this is a pop figure.
Big for Star Wars.
Yep.
Because of the game release, November 12th for the Disney Plus release for The Mandalorian.
Oh,
so
yeah.
all the shit, like this windfall of new stuff.
And starting mid-November, like all of our topics are going to basically be chosen for us.
Yeah. So I went to the Berlin Farmers Market on Saturday. And I was looking for something.
Number 4.
Yeah, so this is just there was a store inside the Berlin Farmers Market. And if you're in New Jersey, like the Berlin Mart, it has a great pretzel place in there. One of my favorite.
Yeah.
In the planet. And there's a store in there that had a fucking an entire wall, like 24-foot wall of pop figures in it, a huge Star Wars section. So I saw her. I'm like, oh, and it was 3 for $25.
Okay.
3 for $24.99 or whatever, right?
All right.
So I'm like, all right, this is like an original one.
And this is the original Princess Leia.
Right.
Really cool. Very simple, but very cool looking.
New Hope Princess Leia.
Yep.
Sorry, I just like ran into the phone.
With the hair and the buns.
So then I saw.
Get the fuck out.
So.
What? Are you kidding me? This is a Yoda in a fucking Santa Claus outfit pop figure.
Yep. And a 3PO one.
What?
So apparently there are 5 of these. They got a Vader one.
Oh,
a
no
Chewbacca
way.
one, and an R2D2.
Tell me there's a picture of Vader on here.
It's on the back.
Okay,
So I had no idea that these existed.
wow. So the R2D2, he's got like reindeer antlers,
Right.
and like Christmas lights hanging from him. Chewbacca just has Christmas lights wrapped around him, and Vader, he's just holding a candy cane.
Yep.
Like he's not all decorated up, but
But
that's
so
fucking amazing.
that store had the 3PO and the Yoda, so now I have to be on the hunt to find. I gotta collect them all.
yeah.
Gotta catch them all. But yeah, very. The pop figures, I don't know what it is, honestly, because the Black Series figures are just fucking. They're dead sexy.
Yeah.
And with the detail and everything else in it, and even the Black Series just continues to impress me.
Yeah.
Where they could very easily had gone the way of like, all right, we're mass producing these, so we're gonna let the detail drop off. No, they're still excellent.
Yep.
And the pop figures are they're just fun.
Yeah.
They're just fun. They're not crazy expensive, and it's one of those things that you can you stack them up, and we got a plan for shelving, which hopefully will happen by. We're talking about doing an extra episode, so hopefully it'll be set up by then.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to display all these pop figures. I don't know. I'm infatuated with them.
They are pretty awesome.
Because I was thinking about it today. As a kid, whenever the bobbleheads came out for that baseball games and shit like that, I was like, "Oh, it's bobblehead night! It's bobblehead night!"
Yeah.
And bobbleheads were always like that choice collectible.
Very coveted.
Yes, and so these pop figures are basically bobbleheads.
Yeah.
It's just cartoony thing of excellence that is Star Wars. So, yeah, we're gonna have to find the fucking. The rest of the Christmas ones. I mean, Christmas season's right around the corner.
I know. It's going to be here before we know it.
It'll be part of our Christmas celebration.
Yes, it'll be a celebration. In fact, we're only a few weeks from Halloween. How fucking crazy is it that like
there's
all
so
of
much,
a sudden like
there's so much Christmas shit out right now, and it's flying by.
Yeah.
It is legit flying by.
And this just means that Rise of Skywalker is going to be here before we fucking know
it's
it.
what 70, 72, 73 days, something like that.
Less than 3 months.
Yep. So
which is fucking crazy. So is that everything?
That's everything.
All right. Well, good haul.
There could
for
have been
Dave.
more. There could have been more.
Oh, easily.
I know Nick at the GameStop on base. There was a lot of these guys that were out, and I restrained myself through some fucking miracle. You know what it was? Because I wasn't there. He was standing there at the store. He sent me a picture, be like, "Hey, what about these?" I'm like, "Oh my god, oh my god, I want everything."
Yeah.
So. Yeah, very cool. If you're in the Berlin Mart, there's a toy store on the inside. Go in there and have a whole. I mean, all the pops you can think of are in there.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Very
That's all
nice.
I got.
I like it. So we'll keep these guys on display for the rest of the show.
Until we need to get into the Trivial Pursuit box.
That is true. So, in the meantime, is that everything for your week?
That's everything for my week.
All right, so we're going to move on to the New York City Comic Con. As we mentioned before, was not expecting a whole lot in the way of Star Wars announcements. Right. But we actually got a fairly decent amount. So we're going to kind of run through some of the most important stuff that was announced over the weekend, and we'll kind of talk about it, and then we'll move on. So they announced some more toys. One that really kind of stuck out to me was the Sith Trooper Armory Pack. It's basically another fucking Sith Trooper in the full fucking red with a bunch of other different weapons. One of them's got like the hand-to-hand fucking weapons, kind of like TR-8R traitor, the fighting baton. So we're getting this whole slew of Sith troopers. We talked about it last week during the Force Friday announcement stuff. There's the Sith Jet Trooper. There's also a normal First Order Jet Trooper. There's
which the pops side by side. It's like, okay, what's the difference? One's red.
Yeah.
The mask, the facial feature on the Sith troopers is different because I was looking at some of the pictures. In fact, this Big Sweet I think had at the GameStop on the base. I was looking at they had the Black Series figure there.
Yeah.
And I love the helmet on that. I think it's like just in the progression of what is the Stormtrooper and First Order helmet. It is a neat advancement of it, but it's basically a Stormtrooper with fucking red spray paint on it.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
It just we've got that big question hanging out there, like what is the significance of these?
Yeah,
Sith
why
people?
is there two different?
Yeah,
like why is it itemized?
Yeah, which makes you think there's going to be two separate armies, but this isn't the speculation show, So I just wanted to point that out.
This isn't the speculation show. That show will come later.
See,
3PO.
in addition to all of that, one of the other toys that I highlighted was this Cave of Evil 3-pack. Did you see that at all?
I might have.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So it's a 3-pack. They look like they're the 3 3/4 inch figures.
Right.
But it's Luke, Yoda, and the Darth Vader costume with the face ripped off, and it's Luke's face. So it's basically the cave. Right?
Wow.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, is this the first time in any kind of toy that we've gotten the Vader costume with Luke's face underneath? Have we ever gotten that toy before?
What's it called again?
Cave of Evil.
Cave of Evil.
Yeah. Yeah, bring that up. Because I'm starting to think that we've never had an action figure, be it back in the 80s, all the redos in the 90s, up through now, that they've done a toy of that fucking version of Vader that Luke decapitates him, and come to find out it's Luke's face under there.
I think it would be. Hang on, let me throw this image up on the screen here so we can reference it.
Okay.
Being all like cool and shit.
Yeah, there it is.
So, there we got it right here in front of us. It's odd. The purist in me is like, well, okay. First of all, Vader doesn't wield a lightsaber in his left hand. Second of all, the head is still attached to the fucking body.
True, but it also comes with the rest of the mask, so you can put the mask over the exposed face, and it can be like a full Darth Vader.
Yeah, and
maybe the head's detachable. You don't know.
And you know what? Any head's detachable if you have a saw.
That is true.
So any head. That wasn't weird.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So yeah, you got Yoda with the fucking with the snake wrapped around him,
which did he ever have a snake wrapped around his fucking neck?
We know that the fucking,
because the original figure, I still remember that. I still have that. I think the original Yoda figure from the fucking 80s had a fucking like an orange snake that wrapped around his neck.
Yeah, that's the collectors. That's what you covet, is the fucking original snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I had that Yoda too. It is long since gone in the disaster that is my room growing up as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you have these are way more articulated these remind me of like GI Joes, the way they're articulated here.
Yeah,
With
they're
wrist
very
and the
bendable.
elbows.
Yeah, they got bendable wrists, bendable elbows, bendable shoulders.
Luke's
it looks
all
like.
buff again. Mark Hamill must have been like, hey, at some point, anytime you make a figure of this. He's gonna have to be jacked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, or I'm not doing it.
And please embellish the
pelvic
area,
the
as
crotchal
well.
region.
My codpiece is really big. So yeah, I highlighted those two, but they announced a shitload more figures, which I thought was funny because we just had the Triple Force fucking Friday, and a day later at this Comic-Con.
This is what happens when you fucking wait so goddamn long to release anything. It's like,
true.
we'll make people wait a little bit more. Now we're releasing shit on top of each other.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, maybe it's just like part of our society in the way that we are now, but we know damn well that we're going to be able to buy this thing around Christmas time, and it'd probably be the same box. It's not going to be exclusive. So any kind of markup we're paying for the markup. It's just like pre-ordering a fucking video game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You know you're going to get the same fucking game if you wait a little bit, but I want it now. And that's that. They're completely taking advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Big Sweet had a fucking Darth Vader. I think it was like... here, I'm going to close this window so we can see the chat again. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he had this Darth Vader. It looked like it was about yay big in the fucking GameStop, and I think it was like $90 or something. It was just like, holy fuck. The thing was badass.
Like really detailed?
Yeah, hang on. I'll show you a picture of it. This again, the amount of restraint shown by us Star Wars fans is...
Well, again, because you weren't there. Like, could you have controlled your impulses had you actually been there in the store?
On that expensive ass thing? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because the number was like... here's the picture of it.
Ooh.
Oh, God. Isaac's back. That was quick, man.
Very nice.
Unless we've been recording for a long time. But yeah, there's a lot of good shit out there with like the figures and things like that. Why did you put this over here? Like, why is there an extra coaster over here all of a sudden?
Because clearly you need it.
Did you put it there, though?
Maybe. No, it was on top of the Trivial Pursuit box.
Oh, okay. So I probably moved it. All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
All
See,
right.
that's I fucking like space cadet sometimes.
Yep. So anyway, that's the first thing. Bunch of new toys announced. I didn't want to bring them all up here. You can go fucking research it yourself. And those were the two that I thought were interesting to talk about.
Garcon.
Garcon means boy.
I know. That's why I used it.
Come on, man. Oh, by the way, watching last week's Booth in the Back, and I love how Don and Brady kept referring to me as like a little man, like a little guy. Oh, he's a little guy. You know, thanks, assholes. I appreciate it.
Well, listen.
Why I got to be the fucking little guy?
Everybody's little compared to Brady.
That is true.
So whatever.
So I must feel like mini me to him. You know, might as well just be Vern Troyer.
Just a child.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at this wee lad.
Yeah. So
I say, like, I was going to make it a point today to do it later, but I'll do it now. Like busting your balls for your gym pick, where you're like, oh god, I'm just gonna flex out like this.
Hell
Make sure
yeah.
I'm fucking yeah,
yeah,
Like
you gotta.
we should arm wrestle. We should have like an all things Star Wars arm wrestle.
Not right now. We don't have.
Oh,
that.
not right now.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I gotta get in the right mind frame. So
Fair enough.
anyway,
Well, I mean, we can even handicap it like based on how badly you lost to fantasy football this week.
here we go.
We're not going to get into the details about it, but you pretty much took an ass whooping. I mean,
Yeah, my ears are still ringing a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Did you see what happened to the Steelers quarterback? That's pretty much what happened to me this weekend.
I saw that shit today.
You got knocked the fuck out.
Dude, lights out. Like the
Yeah.
fucking when you got the arm and his finger was like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, like if you look at his face, he was just like,
clink, and he's out. He took an uppercut right to the fucking jaw.
yeah.
How bad is your fucking franchise? How embarrassing is it that you go, your backup quarterback. This is your guy right now because Big Ben's out.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's laying on the fucking turf. You drive your fucking cart out and it fucking dies. Like the fucking cart died. So then they had to get this poor schmuck up off the ground. No offense, schmuck. And they get this poor fucker up. And now he's like, he's obviously doesn't have his legs underneath him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's completely out to lunch. So obviously he's under the concussion protocol.
Oh, you would think.
Yeah, dude, motherfucker got his bell rung hard.
Yeah.
Like,
And the interesting thing was, it was, I mean, a fairly legitimate play. Like, I don't fault the defender that much in the play. I mean,
it's so hard within the rules of the game now
Yeah.
because the quarterback is so well protected. But maybe he could have got his shoulder a little bit lower going into
Yeah.
it. But fuck me, man. I mean, it's so it at game speeds. You know, it's how fucking hard is it to control your body like that?
Yeah.
It's remarkable the level of restraint that these guys can have on any given basis. But these guys are being paid millions of dollars to fucking hit each other.
yeah.
And now you're saying, you can hit each other, but like, you gotta hit each other the proper way.
Yeah.
I heard it, dude. That fucking stink bug buzzed the tower.
Yeah. You could probably hear him on the fucking audio version.
Yeah.
So anyway.
No, fuck you, Shotgun Mark. You're a monster.
Yeah.
I need to train for that one.
He's a beefy dude. All right, moving on. So another huge announcement. It was huge. That came out of
Huge.
New York City Comic Con
Soggy waffle.
was they announced a new Thrawn book trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a new Thrawn book, but a whole new fucking trilogy.
Cue the celebration music.
Yeah, I got nothing. So, I mean, Timothy's on his back, and the first book is going to be released in May of 2020. So,
Guess who's back?
So what, like
Back
8
again.
months from now, we're getting the first of this new Thrawn Ascension trilogy fucking book?
No, this is. No, what happened to my voice? This is supposed to be pre-Empire, correct?
Yes. So that is the only thing that I did not like about this announcement was the fact that it's before Thrawn joins the Empire.
Right.
So don't know exactly the time frame, but it's before he fucking gets picked up on that remote planet and joins.
You know what's gonna happen?
Hmm.
Thrawn and that fucking that other Grand Admiral.
Yeah.
That was on the in that battle sequence in the third book.
Yeah.
Can't think of her name right now.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
They're gonna knock boots.
Yeah, probably.
They're gonna get it on.
That would not surprise me.
Major sex points for Thrawn.
Yes.
I mean, there's no way. that it can't happen.
Yeah. I wonder what it's like for him, like going out to the club to try to pick up chicks. Because he can
being all blue like that.
Well, more like his ability to like read people and like she's going to go to the bar and get a wine spritzer, and then I'm going to go over here.
Welcome to my world, dude. It's in that level of hyper analysis where you're planning out every single contingent for every single movement, and you wonder why I'm fucking tired all the time because I'm too busy reading what fucking 70 people around me are all going to do at any given time. It's exhausting.
Wow. It sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Ignorance is bliss in my world.
Yeah,
so.
In most worlds.
Yeah.
Dave Hewlett. This motherfucker, sidebar. This motherfucker, we had a guy that we flew with. And if you're listening to this fucking podcast, good on you. Happy to have you. However, you're about to get trashed. This dude, let me tell you the level of oblivion this guy had. We were flying over Africa, right? And he's a student. Right, fresh after a fucking,
I've heard this story before.
Fresh out of a Q2.
Yeah.
Which means that he's a shitbag. And the generosity of giving him a Q2 at the time. I don't want to get into that. However, so we're fucking flying along and he's riding the radios and I'm fucking just listening in, just babysitting. And we get into this fucking thunderstorm and holy fuck, we are getting the fuck kicked out of us. I mean, just with the turbulence and the gain and loss of altitude and fucking thunderstorms. We had St. Elmo's fire in the back of the fucking airplane on the laptops and shit. That's how intense this fucking thunderstorm was.
God damn.
And you got Rabbit. Remember Rabbit?
Oh, yeah.
Got Rabbit on the fucking radios just crying to fucking the air traffic controller, which you're in uncontrolled airspace. Everything's over to high frequency fucking radio and you got some fucking schlep in the middle of fucking deepest, darkest Africa is looking at a screen going like, yeah, no, you can't go around this fucking thunderstorm. And we were within our fucking legal limits of what we could go around. So it fucking sucked. It sucked. You think about it a lot when you stop flying. You think about shit like that, which I'm sure you have to.
Oh, yeah.
And what was fucked up was we're somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes into this event. And I'm holding on to the fucking table. I'm legitimately holding on to the fucking table, keeping my face on the fucking laptop so it stops bouncing in the air. And this motherfucker turns to me and looks and says, "Are we in a thunderstorm?" I mean, legitimately, you can hear it on the radios because thunderstorms you can hear. Like, if you ever want to do something cool, show your kids something cool, turn on an AM radio during a thunderstorm, and you can actually hear the lightning over the radio. Very, very cool. When you're in a thunderstorm, you hear all of the fucking lightning. Like, all the surrounding lightning, not to mention the shit that's fucking right around you. And you can hear all of it on the fucking radio. You can hear rabbits screaming on the fucking, to the air traffic controller. All the shit's going on. And this motherfucker's sitting there eating. This has nothing to do with bravery. This is just complete oblivion to what's going on around him. Complete oblivion.
Yeah.
And the fucker just turned to me and said that shit. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
But see, again, you contrast that to like somebody like me. Like, I'd have been fucking, my blood pressure would have been like at its absolute peak. I'd have been fucking nervous as shit. I'd have been just like, fucking, God, just get me out of this, God. And I would much rather be in his position in that situation.
Dude.
I'd much rather just be ignorant. Just like, oh, what's going on? Did you feel some turbulence?
Something happening?
Yeah. That's, I'd almost rather have that level of calmness.
I think his exact words were, "Did you see lightning?" Motherfuck.
Yeah.
We were, and plane full of people. It was real heavy. So, when our airplane got heavy, it was fucking awful in turbulence. Just fucking awful.
I remember getting bounced off the ceiling over New Guinea. That was great.
Thanks, Snetty.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was his. Well, nah, it wasn't his fault.
Totally his fault.
Yeah.
Every time.
Whatever. All right.
This motherfucker. We could have a PTSD airing of fucking the airing of grievances. Yeah. We'll wait for fucking what
John?
Day? No. What's that? Costanza's fucking.
Festivus.
Festivus. We'll wait for Festivus for the airing of grievances.
Yeah, and all of our war stories. So anyway, the Thrawn trilogy. It's a prequel to the first Thrawn book. So
the fuck did we get to
I don't even fucking know.
the ignorance?
Oh, the overanalyzing
Oh.
bitches in
Oh,
the
yeah,
bar.
yeah.
Anyway, so
Sorry,
that's
bug.
the only thing. Like Timothy Zahn writes brilliant novels. I'm sure they have a very distinct story they want to tell over these 3 books. So I mean, I'm not too concerned. I hate the idea of backstories. Like so many fucking backstories. Don't need it. Don't care. Give me something that progresses the story forward, not backwards.
I tend to agree with you. However,
Mhm.
this is Thrawn.
Yes.
I am interested. You could build off of, if we get backstory on what the Chiss ascendancy is,
Mhm.
maybe we understand how it interacts with the future.
True. And you know, there could be some like master fucking plot going on that wasn't revealed in the
because there was hints of it in the third Thrawn book, which is a title I can't think of. There was hints of it.
Treason.
Thrawn treason.
It's treason then.
Derailed. Well, totally off. No, we could get, there was kind of hints at with Thrawn and the other admiral that he was boning. God, names are gone.
Aralani.
Oh, that's the broad's name?
Yeah. That does sound familiar now.
Armani. So Armani and fucking Thrawn, they're like, there's a lot of sexual tension there.
Oh, sure.
You know, blue sex tension.
Yeah.
And I think you'll get an idea of why that is in the Chiss. It's fuck me. Chiss prequel, as it were. And then why Thrawn was sent to basically do what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get that. There's going to be a reason for this necessity that you're going to send somebody like Thrawn out into the world to interact with these other humanoids, so that you can ultimately protect the ascendancy.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll tie into the Grisks a lot.
Probably. Yeah, it's one of those. It's such a weird parallel right now that we have, because you have the Clone Wars and Rebels, and you have the books that really bring Thrawn into this story as canon.
Yep.
But then it's not so far forward that I have no expectation at all, like zero, of seeing. We have more of a chance of seeing fucking Chrome Dome in the next movie than we do fucking Thrawn.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Phasma. So, but I know we are going to see Phasma.
Nope.
Got money on the board for it.
Money is mine.
So I feel like I'm really close to the camera.
That's fine. People like you, so everybody loves Dave.
Fools. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's Thrawn. It's Timothy Zahn. It's going to be good. Is it going to further the story along? Perhaps. I mean, even telling the backstory can enlighten us to something that could be happening soon.
Sure. And as long as they do the audiobook with old Mark Thompson again, I'm in. You know?
So speaking of audiobooks, again, sidebar. This seems like it's going to be a sidebar episode.
Yeah, we may not even get to our second topic, honestly. So
whatever. So I think I talked about it on the show before, like this Bobaverse book series that I've been reading. I finished the second book on the drives back and forth to State College, and I started the third book. What good fucking books!
Yeah.
And I'm not, in the past, up until I started listening to this book, I had not been an Audible book fan, because I am a printed page kind of reader, and I like to develop my story like in my own imagination with my own voice and things like that. The guy who does I forget his name, but this in the same way that this was like an Audible exclusive book series. So it was written.
Really?
Yeah, it was written for Audible. And it was told by a certain guy, and it's one guy doing all the voices, and he does it fucking phenomenally. Like if you're a sci-fi person and you're into the sci-fi stuff, like the Bobaverse books, like I'm really curious how they're going to end it. You know, it's almost sad in a way, kind of the same way as you look at, this is going to be the last book in the series or whatever, and you have like how I'm thinking about how they're going to fucking tie this off. But that Audible book and that particular person who's speaking these parts makes all the difference in the world. if it was somebody with a very monotone, not real, like there's no special effect or anything else in this. Like you
No,
talk about
like-
with the Thrawn, how you get
Oh.
music and you got battle sequences and
Right.
shit like that. None of that in the Bobaverse. It's just like it speaking about it's he's reading the book. He's
Okay.
reading the book aloud,
But he's performing dialogue.
right.
though,
He's
right?
performing dialogue in different voices for different characters.
Yeah.
And it's the same guy, but it makes all the difference in the world. I've listened to some other books that I think did not engage me nearly as well because it wasn't written by somebody who had that level of engagement. So I am a huge proponent of the audiobook, especially for commuting and driving and things like that. It's taking away from my listening to podcasts, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm downloading stuff and listening to nonfiction, things that I would be interested in reading. And I'm not going to have time to. And I got all that time in the car, and I'm not holding on to something in my hand, and I'm not doing anything illegal. But I don't know. The Thrawn books, I don't know if I will listen to them because when that stuff comes out, there's going to be so much other stuff going on.
Right. And if you didn't listen to the first 3 and you weren't that into it, then
It's not that I wasn't that into it. I wanted to read it on the printed page.
Sure.
It's a matter of timing as much as anything. I
Yeah.
certainly am not going to besmirch. I guess the whole point of my diatribe is the audiobook in a lot of circumstances is as fulfilling as reading the book. It's just, and not a lot of people have time to just sit down and read anymore. It's an unfortunate byproduct of our society.
Speaking of which, I would assume there's going to be a Rise of the Resistance audiobook because I'd kind of rather do that than read a paper book. So when we do our review for that in early November, that might be another audiobook for me to do.
Yeah, I'll probably read it. I'll actually read it.
Yeah.
I like having the secret Jedi text.
Yeah.
What's funny is like Big Swede and I were talking about it, and we get a lot of work done, Nick and I.
It sounds like
Yeah,
it.
we get a lot of
Sounds
work
like
done.
there's a lot of productivity. When
A
you
lot
two
of
are together.
productivity. There's a lot of Mario Kart being played. Somebody happens to be in first place amongst the friends. That would be this guy.
First out of 2.
First out of like 5, but regardless, I'm top 3 on my tier. Just fucking Mario Kart, man. Some of the memes for Mario Kart are even really good. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's fucking addictive. Well, I got turned on to something Extreme Landings today. For fucking just landing airplanes and having systems go, and you have to fucking.
Oh, damn.
It's right up my fucking alley.
Nice.
Nerd. Anyway,
So can we move on from Thrawn?
if we must.
All right, we must, because we got other stuff to cover. So, they announced a couple weeks ago, I think it was, that they were ending the current Star Wars comic book series.
Right.
I don't. Did we talk about that?
I thought we did.
Yeah. So
Briefly.
we've talked about the first, I don't know, 30 of those books or so, maybe 20, 25. Anyway, we started going through the main Star Wars comic book series, and I don't know. It got kind of dumb really quick to the point where we just like had no desire to continue.
Well, it's kind of like the Clone Wars episodes,
Yeah.
where you have there's some clunkers in there.
Yes.
There really is.
Yeah.
Um,
So we kind of stopped doing it. Anyway, they announced that they were ending that series because it was getting up to the point of Empire Strikes Back, and they're like, all right, we've been doing this over like 75 fucking comics, so we're going to end this.
I'm cutting open right now. Hey now, this is number 62 that has one Princess Leia Organa
She
and
looks like...
some elfin broad.
Oh, I was going to say, that looks like Padme, that
It's
elven
not.
chick.
It's there's a lot. Like we're gonna have to.
At some point, maybe re-engage with that series,
Indeed.
which allegedly it had some good stuff, some good canon in it, but
Well, I have a proposal that we're gonna make it here at the end of this episode that we can discuss.
Okay, and Solsky's telling us... Oh, no, it's Tevin telling us to do the Darth Plagueis book review. I'm assuming you mean the comic book that came out.
Is there a Plagueis comic book?
Oh, no. He must be talking about the novel. I'm thinking
We did the
fucking-
novel, didn't we? Or we talked around it. We didn't talk about the.
Yeah, we kind of talked around it last week when we were talking about Palpatine, but
You know
we
what?
didn't do a full dissection of the novel itself.
It's a small Star Wars sidebar here. The problem with the Plagueis book is it's great. It's really, really good.
But it's no longer canon either.
It's not canon.
Oh, I can't stop yawning.
You go into this kind of, do you spend a lot of energy reading non-canon stuff at this point as we're going into the next movie? There's going to be a point here as we continue to do this where we'll have room to do non-canon material and kind of go back to some storylines.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are a Star Wars fan and you're a fan of that, the fact is the book's right there on the floor. It's a great read. It really is, but it's non-canon, and
it's one of those things where it's like, why do that to yourself?
Yeah, it's because they could fuck it up royal. They could talk about Plagueis and not in any way, shape, or form relate to what the novel that was already written, or it could be exactly the way it was written, and that would be fucking great because it's a great storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have time to read and you're looking for a book, I highly recommend it. But yeah, unfortunately, after Rise of Skywalker, maybe we can dedicate a little bit more time to it if we feel like it might be pertinent.
Yeah, and I think I'm
gonna put a pin in that.
Yeah, that's after Rise of Skywalker, after the Skywalker saga officially closes. Maybe that's when we can start re-engaging with. That's what I was just sending a text about.
Word.
I know. Cause we're like this.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe after the saga is complete, we can go back and touch on some more Legends material.
Sure, absolutely.
But for now, like, we're still ramping up to this Rise of Skywalker. This is not the time.
I want, and to be honest, I want Rise of Skywalker and everything that comes after it to fucking knock my socks off, so that all of this material here from the Legends material, I don't even want to think about it.
Sure. Because
there's nothing in there. While there were good stories and they filled a void, if the next
fill her void.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But for now.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to the comics. So they announced a couple weeks ago that they're ending the main Star Wars comic series.
Right.
Well, that's only half true because they announced this weekend that there is a new Star Wars comic book series titled Star Wars, just like this fucking one. No subtitle,
right,
no
just
nothing.
Like Vader.
Yeah.
When they released Vader.
Which they're doing a third Darth Vader one now too. I didn't even write that in the notes. There's now a third series just called Darth Vader, and that's it.
Yeah, it's impossible to keep up with all that shit. It
I
really
know.
is. I after this Star Wars run ends, that's it. My Marvel subscription is over.
Right.
And I'll have a nice stack of Star Wars comics at some point in my life I'll probably never get to. I'll probably stay in the plastic and fucking be suitable for framing at some point and hopefully be worth money to my grandkids.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'll wait for the graphic novels to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll read all of it in one shot.
Yeah. But this new series is taking place between Empire and Jedi now.
Mm-hmm.
So, which, even in Legends material, we had very little. Shadows of the Empire was the big one, but very little material that bridged the gap between Empire and Jedi. Oh, and in current canon, we have none up to this point.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that's seems fairly obvious. Han's frozen in carbonite, right? So he's out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a fucking popsicle.
Yeah.
So he's doing whatever, and there might be some fucking side adventures that Leia and Chewbacca, maybe Chewbacca's giving Leia the high hard one. Who knows? Orlando is putting the moves on her, fucking like, hey.
Oh yeah,
your boy.
You know he is.
Your boy. Hey.
Yeah, you know Lando's. He's trying to get it in.
It's a dynamite taste.
But yeah, so this new Star Wars series bridges the gap between those two. I don't know what they're going to do after this. Then they're going to do the Star Wars comic that takes place after Return of the Jedi? I don't fucking know.
And they're going to do the Star Wars comic that takes place in the 15 minutes between when 3PO gets disassembled and Chewbacca finds the body.
Right.
It'll all be Ugnaughts written in pig language, so it's just be a series, 46 episodes of grunts.
Would you rather have that or the holiday specials first 15 minutes?
I would rather
all Wookiee screams.
Oh my fucking god! I'd rather have the pig snorting than Wookiee.
Are we even going to reference the holiday special at all this year?
We've been referencing it all fucking year. It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year. we could have an annual watch. We could just be like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
We're watching a fucking holiday special again.
Would anyone care? I guess is the question.
Who fucking cares? If we just sit here and just drink.
And just watch it. Just
Like-
be like, what the fuck?
What? Hey, here's the challenge for you out there in the watching and listening land. Give us a drinking game for the holiday special that we can play.
God.
That won't put us in the hospital, please.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
please. I'll have an Uber, or I'll fucking crash in here on the couch, whatever. But a drinking game that won't get us killed, won't get us arrested.
Second
no.
is subjective.
That's subjective.
Yeah.
But come up with something that we could do that would be entertaining and would also get us fucking annihilated, and maybe we'll do it that way.
Yeah.
We kind of did our MS-3 3000 version of it.
Yeah.
That we can't do that again. So we have to, if we're going to do it annually for some fucking reason, because we're like sticking fucking hot pokers in our eyes, then sure.
Yes, and it truly is the gift that keeps.
I think we have to sing Leia's song. Like it would have to be like I'll memorize it. Do a lot of cocaine. It's a dynamite taste.
With their fucking eyes.
What's her eyes fucking? Leia, where are we looking at?
She's leaning on the desk as she's walking over, just trying not to fall over in her fucking coke stupor. All right. Is she not responding? Did I say something that pissed her off?
I
throughout the podcast.
I don't know. Usually, I'm pretty hyper aware of that.
Yeah. Hey, wife, if you're watching, respond to my text message. But anyway.
Jason, in response to your question on the Vader action figure, look to my post in the cantina.
All right, we'll look at that later. If the holiday special came out in Blu-ray, would Dave buy it?
Dave will not buy it.
Jason would buy 2 copies.
Yeah, and then hide one in my house. It would be under the floorboards, fucking like the telltale heart from fucking Poe.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna make a Jewish reference
Whip, whip,
there.
stir, stir, whip, whip, stir, stir.
All right. So anyway, that
Poe, Edgar Allan Poe reference, from the telltale heart.
I know what you meant, but
all right.
You said under the floorboards. I thought you were gonna make a Jewish reference, but
What Jewish reference?
Did you ever see Inglourious Bastards?
No.
Oh.
I haven't. I should. I really should. I have read The Diary of Anne Frank, though. That's what I thought. You were like, what?
Anne Frank? You mean that chick that was deaf, dumb, and blind?
No.
Oh.
No.
Whatever.
Oh my God, no.
Until that miracle worker came in and knocked some smarts into her?
Oh my God. Jason, what the fuck are you talking about?
Whatever. So, moving on.
Are you talking about Helen Keller?
Sure. But no, wasn't Anne Frank the chick that was deaf, dumb, and blind?
No!
Oh. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So, the Clone Wars anthology.
What is happening right now? Where did you go to grade school? Oh, you know what? Never mind. You went to school in California. Never mind.
In Bakersfield, no less.
They didn't teach you anything.
Right.
Fine.
So, moving on. They announced the Clone Wars anthology.
You uncultured swine.
Which is apparently it's a collection of short stories in a novel form that's based around the Clone Wars. Reading the description, it kind of came off to be as sort of like the certain point of view, where it's just a whole collection of a bunch of different authors writing short stories that are part of the Clone Wars.
I've got 2 words for this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess some of your Clone Wars enthusiasts might like it. I
will tell you this. I will, before circling back to the fucking holiday special, I will buy a copy of the holiday special before I buy a copy of the Ewok anything.
Oh, come on, man.
Because at least I can have a
you
drinking
haven't even
game.
Seen them yet?
I don't need to see it. I am beyond the point of no return for the Ewok movies. There's not a point that fucking 44-year-old Dave Martin is going to sit there in front of the fucking Ewok movie and go like, oh, you know what? I can appreciate this for what it is. No, I'm going to look at it as like, there's some more bad acting. I guarantee you that Wicket fucking outfit probably stinks to high fucking heaven. Because how the fuck do you clean those things? How do you clean that? Chewbacca's got to stink to high fucking heaven. Like, there's no way you could fucking clean the smell out of that. There wasn't Febreze in 1980. Like, you're not Febrezing that shit. What do you hang it up on a fucking line and hope that some fucking dog doesn't hump the costume? No, fucking awful. Anyway,
Okay, so the Clone Wars anthology. I don't really care, honestly.
I don't either.
I don't ever.
I
foresee
didn't.
myself
I did
reading
not
that.
like the certain point of view book. I thought. I don't know. I wasn't into it.
Yeah. So the biggest.
And being the 21st century, if I'm not into it, then nobody else should be. Obviously, that my point
Oh
of view.
yes.
My point of view is the most important.
Right, and if you
And
don't,
fuck everybody else who thinks otherwise.
and if you don't agree with his point of view, he's offended and he's gonna ruin your life. Because
I'm going to lambaste you on social media and just generally make myself look like an idiot because that's what almost everybody does in that scenario.
yes. So anyway, one of the biggest announcements, even though there's very few details on it, that came out was Project Luminous, which I have the little preview fucking screen grab on our YouTube feed right now. So I'm just gonna read to you the description from this. So first of all, it's a combined effort from Del Rey, Marvel, IDW Publishing, and Lucasfilm. So this is going to span multiple formats, be it comics, novels, what have you. And it's a top secret project that they cannot divulge any details on until January of 2020, which is the month after Rise of Skywalker. So most people believe that this is after the Rise of Skywalker that has something to do with something that gets revealed during the movie, right?
Okay.
And this is the tagline. The Force is what gives a Jedi his power. That's right, his. It's an energy field created by all living things. ... until ... Project Luminous. So apparently something is going to change with the Force, or our perception of the Force is going to be different, or something's going to happen, probably in Rise of Skywalker, that's going to again change how we look at the Force. And it's a multitude of authors, Claudia Gray being the most prominent one in this list,
Right.
because she's done a lot of novels recently. And this makes me think, now this is pure speculation at this point, but it makes me think this is going to be the first multi-book arc post-Disney buyout that we've had with Star Wars. Because you remember, beforehand, we had what? We had the New Jedi Order, we had Fate of the Jedi, what was the other one?
Fate of the Jedi.
Well, there were three...
No, Fate of the Jedi was the last one.
Okay, well, what was the one in between?
You had... fuck. God, I read every one of those fucking books, too. Stand by. I'm
Should have
referencing the
timeline in the Sacred Jedi text.
Thank you. So we have the
it needs ice.
Dark Nest trilogy, Legacy of the Force,
Legacy of the
Jedi.
Force. That was the one. Yeah, the Dark Nest trilogy was just a trilogy of 3 books. The Legacy of the Force was another multi-book arc.
God, those books are so good. Ah, what a shame.
Yep.
What are you waiting on?
I'm trying to get a message out to people in the house.
So, just call Alexa. Go in your Alexa app.
I don't have an Alexa app.
Why don't you have an Alexa app? How did you set up your Echo?
Kristen did all that.
Oh, God, Jason.
All right.
Why have all this technology if you're not going to use it?
I'm a simple kind of man. So, anywho.
Right.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Project Luminous.
Yeah, Project Luminous. So, my theory on this is it's a multi-story arc that takes place after Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I can think of that this might possibly be, because they specifically said they can't release details until January.
So that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If you don't want to look here. It's not what I meant to say. He'll read anything that's on the teleprompter.
Are you looking for one of these?
I am looking for one of those.
Okay.
Project Luminous, when I first was reading about this, it really reminds me of something from Sacred Jedi text when we talk about Luminara, who was one of the main antagonists in Fate of the Jedi.
Right.
Because she was like this hyper evil being that like possessed certain things. I immediately thought of that. Now it's probably just a coincidence, right? Because Luminous is going to the light side and blah 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 blah. So it's probably like in that ilk.
Well, and
where it's going to like play to your fucking good guys strings or whatever.
Well, and it reminds me of the quote from Yoda when he's talking to Luke on Dagobah after Luke failed to lift the X-wing. Luminous beings need not this crude matter here.
That's a great reach.
So that's what I thought when I saw that. So maybe it is some sort of a greater understanding of the Force or a greater use of the Force that we haven't seen up to this point.
And Tevin's bringing up a Snoke book or a smoke book, two different things.
Yeah.
And potentially, like when we're talking about Rise of Skywalker and his Project Luminous, and maybe it gets to that point. I like the idea that we're talking about this is the end of the Skywalker saga, right? Yep. If Rey is not a Skywalker, which we're led to believe that she's not.
Mm-hmm.
So let's continue on that. Personally, I still wish it to be true, but whatever.
Yeah.
She's not a Skywalker. So Rey, in theory, not being part of the Skywalker saga, could continue on as part of this series.
Yeah.
When you eliminate the Kylo Rens and these other things and then have another period of peace, instead of, like, you go to the Sacred Jedi text and you talk about the legacy books where we continue after Return of the Jedi and what Luke established as the Jedi Temple and everything else. Maybe it's not about the Jedi anymore. Maybe Rey goes and creates this Church of the Illuminati or whatever, and is now gathering Force-sensitive beings so that they, like, it's that feel-good story about bringing out the Force-sensitive people who are ostracized because they're kind of different and weird. And now we have an episode of the X-Men, as our fucking continuation of Star Wars. But I don't... Something I've been thinking about recently more often as we get closer to the movie is that just because it's the end of the Skywalker saga doesn't mean it's going to be the end of necessarily the Rey timeline.
Sure. Yeah.
Because if she's not a Skywalker, then, boom. Whatever happens with the First Order, the Sith, all this other thing. There's always going to be good, there's always going to be evil. Yeah. It's the balance of the Force. There's where one might be prevalent, the other still is dormant.
Yep.
It doesn't mean it's not there. And that's the mistake and the fallacy of tens of thousands of years in the Star Wars universe. So this Project Luminous is most likely, like you said, it's the stepping stone to that end.
Right, because they probably have no intention, at least right now, of making more movies beyond this with these characters in this timeline. So,
but saying that, they keep fucking like, oh, here's another movie person that's going to be involved in making Star Wars shit. It's like, okay, in what capacity?
Right.
Like, is this about the continuation? One thing that is making me a little bit nervous is we're talking about Disney Plus and The Mandalorian, and we're looking forward to all those good things there. And there's some movie projects in the works, but they're not really related to the fucking Star Wars. Is at its heart, we talked about this already. It's about the big movie release.
Yeah,
it's about the every other year at this point. Excuse me. It's about the every other year getting to that next fucking movie, the anticipation of that, new characters, toys, everything else.
Yeah.
If you stray too far from that, I think your Star Wars as we know it is going to start to fucking dissipate. And it's going to get watered down. So they have to find a way to continue these big epic sagas, massive fucking scores. All these things have to, like, all these things that culminate into what Star Wars is. It has to center around these movies, right?
Yes. And there's a few different things to talk about here. Obviously, we know there's that next trilogy that's coming out that was originally supposed to be all the Benioff and Weiss, the Game of Thrones guys.
But it was a trilogy that we didn't know was necessarily related to the timeline as we know.
And it's not. Most people think it's going to be Old Republic era. So,
which is fine. I'm fine with that.
These are going to be theatrically released movies. I also agree with what you're saying about it potentially getting watered down, because when you start throwing out a fucking Cassian Andor TV series and some other shit like that, who fucking cares?
Again, I said it before and I'll say it again. A Cassian Andor series would be watchable if... Oh, thank God.
Sorry.
Oh, thank God.
What's going on in the house?
Is it on fire?
No, no.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that's good.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'm taking the ice first because I'm closest.
That's fine. Get your dirty fucking hands all over it.
I'm gonna put my little dick beaters all over it. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Took care of that. All right. So
If there's
anyway,
any left over, I have my soda that I can pour them into.
take it all. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like they are kind of watering it down a little bit already, and I think the idea is they're not going to water down the movie experience, but fucking everything else, they're going balls deep. It's like we're gonna stick it all the way in when it comes to comics and fucking TV.
It's not just
and
a tip.
everything else.
It's obviously not just a
Yeah,
tip. But
so,
I again, there's so much riding. I feel like we're repeating ourselves, but there really is so much riding on this movie.
yeah, oh yeah,
There's
Rise
so
of
much-
Skywalker.
The momentum that you could have going into something like this, where you make this and say, okay, 20 years from now, in future generations, when Rey is a Jedi Master with a different breed of Jedi, they're no longer called the Jedi, and they're doing something else because they were in extinction, and but blah 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 blah. The whole story arc that you could get into. I am looking forward to that. I don't want that to happen, but if Rise of Skywalker falls on its fucking face, and we're relying on the product that's being pushed out by Disney Plus to kind of carry us through, I hate to think that we're at the F limit of what we're going to see theatrically. An Old Republic release would be fucking fantastic, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think if you neglect the forward progress of the timeline, I think it's a foul. I think it's a foul, and you have to do more than just comics and everything else, because we've talked about 100 times, talked about 3 times in this podcast. Without these main movies, without these fucking 8 going on 9 fucking movies that make up the Skywalker saga, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
You don't have anything. And you can't lose your core. You have to continue. You have to progress in some form or fashion.
Sure.
Do we get something in the next 4 or 5 years? I don't know. Looking at the chat real quick, just because we saw it move. Any Star Wars canon books recommendations about the Sith?
In canon, not really.
From a certain point of view, there is some stories in there, but I don't know.
Like, they haven't explored that much in current canon yet.
Yeah, you have to get... That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Yeah, that was from Tevin Daniels in the chat, by the way.
Yeah.
He asked if there were any Star Wars canon books recommendation that are about the Sith. And quite frankly, all right, we're going to take a really quick break.
Pause.
Yeah, we're going to pause. Dave's probably about to explode. But we will finish answering your question after this word from our sponsors. Feel better?
Yeah,
All right.
that was it. That was...
You would reach the F limit?
Yeah, that was the F limit.
All right. My turn.
Lords of the Sith. We're still talking about canon book recommendations. Let's look at the Sacred Jedi texts. The Sacred Jedi texts. Let's see if we can find something with a... No, there's nothing up there. Fuck. You can't hit us with the fucking hard questions when we've been drinking and peeing. It's a very good point. It's a very good point that Jason brought up about the luminous beings or we energy fields and whatnot. Can we talk about how important this game against Penn State and Michigan is going to be? I mean, talk a little football. We're going to save that for later. We'll save it for later. Yes. I'm trying not to get distracted and run myself on a whole different train of thought because I'm very easily distracted.
All right.
Adult ADD.
We're going to answer this question, and I think we're just going to close up the show. I think we can...
How long have we been talking?
Over an hour and a half.
Get the fuck out. We didn't even get to do the thing.
Yeah, hour and a half. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we answer Tevin's question, and then we call it good.
49ers.
Go Niners. Playing tonight. All right. We ready to get back to it?
Sure.
All right. 30 seconds of silence. Starting now. And we're back.
Made all the noise.
Yes, I did. So, getting back to Tevin's question. So, Tevin asked, is there a novel about the Sith in current canon that he can read? So, there's the Lords of the Sith book, but that was more about Vader and Palpatine, not really about the Sith Empire. Because, I mean, before the Disney buyout, we had all of this material around the Sith Empire, going all the way back to the origins of the Sith species.
Right.
The Dark Jedi finding them.
Read.
Yeah, the Dark Jedi finding the Sith species, creating the Sith Empire. Then you get the whole fucking thousands of years war of the Sith Empire versus the Republic, the Old Republic. All that stuff was shit canned. To include the Old Republic video game that is still going on right now and is still having content created for it. The only piece of Legends material that is still being updated. But yeah, in current canon, almost no references whatsoever. You remember when we were reviewing the Aftermath books, I think it was the third one, they mentioned in like one sentence talking about, back when the Republic was fighting the Sith Empire, and I fucking lost my shit because I'm like, oh my god, they're actually referencing this. But for the most part, yeah, very, very little.
It is an untold story, for sure.
And I'm sure we will see it at some point, probably after the Skywalker saga closes. Then they can go back and tell all those fucking stories and everything else. Or maybe even in the Benioff and Weiss movie. But
Benioff and Weiss. It's remarkable to me that you can say it so quickly. Benny Awful and How is it keeps popping in my head.
I have very few talents in the world, but I guess that's one of them.
Apparently.
So, fuck me, right? But yeah, that's...
Also not one of them.
Hopefully someday we get that story backfilled, but...
Listen, we don't even... Here's the thing. We've got a matter of weeks before we're going to be inundated with fresh, new fucking Star Wars material. So...
Yeah.
Tevin, if you and anyone else who's listening is like looking for something to hold them over until then, sure, go out there, read stuff, and I would get involved in the comics, look for graphic novels, maybe catch up on the Star Wars comics because it's all canon.
Yeah.
All the Star Wars comic books are canon, and there's storylines there that might interest you and hold you over. But in a month, less than a month from when this drops as a podcast, where you're going to be at a point where we're going to be less than a month away from getting the Mando, the Mandalorian. We're going to have a fucking video game, and we're going to have content related to that.
The Resistance book, all of the rest of the countdown to Rise of Skywalker.
We are at the Mount St. Helens right now of eruption of circa 19. What was it? When did that erupt? 84?
I don't fucking know.
You don't remember that?
No.
You were live.
I know, but...
You were near it, too.
In 84, I would have been 8 years old and not giving a fuck. If it didn't have something to do with Transformers, G.I. Joe, or Star Wars, then I didn't give a fuck.
Dude, in 1984, I could have told you the fucking capacity of the fucking external fuel tank for the fucking space shuttle.
Yeah, I had no desire to know that.
Huge nerd. Like I've actually like my nerddom has actually shrunk since I was a fucking child. Like I was such a big nerd. Like you had to fucking roll me around on my big wheel. I was such a huge nerd, and then it just fucking shrunk down into what it is now.
Right.
Like, it is compartmentalized into like basically Star Wars, and I'm sure there's other shit too that I don't even think about that just fucking slips out of my fucking mouth.
Yeah.
But it was at 80. Okay, it was 80. But I distinctly remember the
So
fucking
I'd have
eruption.
been 4, and I really didn't give a fuck then. So
Actually, in 1980, we were coming back from California, moving back to the East Coast. My dad was getting out of the Navy.
nice. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to actually wrap up this episode. We covered a lot of stuff. We had many sidebars, and I think we're just going to wrap this up. Call it good.
God, we're so fucking good at making fucking something out of nothing.
I know you got
Nothing. Doing it live, people. We're doing it live.
That's what we do. Doing it live.
We had a whole backup plan. We're like, all right, this is going to take us 20 minutes. We got a fucking thing. We're going to do it, which was a great fucking idea. If I do say so myself,
Right.
I thought it was a great idea to fucking be able to generate some content.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to get to it.
Yep.
Use and Abuse did a great episode that involved Mount St. Helens. Great reach back there, Bronco Fett.
I like it.
So listen to Use and Abused podcast, and you can talk about Mount St. Helens. Like I said, listening to Audible books kind of takes away from my listening to podcasts. But as with any podcast or any YouTube subscription, subscribe, download, do all of those things. You sometimes leave leave 5-star reviews.
Yes. Oh God,
As
I haven't
much-
checked our 5-star
as
reviews
much
in
as
a long
possible.
time.
Listen.
Hold on, wait.
This podcasting lives and dies based on the fucking reviews. So if you're downloading anything, I don't give a fuck if you don't listen to it or not.
Shit.
Oh my God, Jason. I don't give a fuck if you're listening to it or not. Download it so you have a download number and give it a review. Listen to it enough that you can give it a decent review. But if you're going through the trouble of subscribing to something and download it, fucking leave it a positive review. Podcasts live and die by that shit.
Yeah.
So all the podcasts on the Podbelly Network, go to podbelly.com, subscribe to all those podcasts so that they can get the download numbers. Tell them you came from the All Things Star Wars podcast. We're right there in the front on the podbelly.com network. We're hoping that at some point Used and Abused is on that fucking Podbelly network as well. Like I said, Scott, go talk directly to the fucking Brent who controls that shit.
Yeah. So we actually have gotten a couple of 5-star reviews.
Get the
over-
fuck
over the
out!
last few months, and as promised,
Accidentally segueing into some good shit.
if you leave us a review, a 5-star review on iTunes, we will read it on the air verbatim, no matter what
How
you
many?
say.
How many do we have?
2.
2?
Yeah.
All right, let me read one of them.
All right. Do you want to start then?
Yeah, I'll start.
Do the bottom one. of
Yeah,
those two.
I know. I know Tom had a specific request. Hank. Hi, everybody. I know I haven't been coming on the podcast. I'm not really fond of the language, but we're going to go ahead and read this here review and leave a 5-star review. If you don't leave a 5-star review, you're a dick. Anyway, Nerdson Topic. Hang on. Nerdson Topic. That's not a real word. Titles it Fun and Lore. They know what they. I don't know that this is English that he's speaking. They know what they talk about and seem to have a lot of fun doing it. Makes it feel like you're in on the discussion. So thank you, Nerdson Topic, for the review. And I'm out of here before Jason starts saying something dumb about Anne Frank and Helen Keller.
All right, thank you, Hank. We really appreciate it. So that was from, like you said, Nerd Sun Topic. Thank you for that review. And then the next one is from Oliver 591, and it's
I see that.
yeah. Anyway, Oliver 591 titled this Legends. This is seriously the best Star Wars podcast. So many great topics to keep you going until the next movie comes out. Keep up the great work. So thank you, Oliver 591, and thank you, Nerd Sun Topic. Again, if you give us a 5-star review on iTunes, we will read it verbatim, no matter what you say.
Leave any review on, and we will read it verbatim.
Yep.
However, if it's less than 5 stars, be prepared to get shit on a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. I mean, honestly, come on.
Yep.
A lot.
And that being said, I think
I will have Hank Hill, fucking Mike Judge, Mr. Anderson, Beavis, and Butthead will all go and shit on you if you leave less than a 5-star review.
Nice.
And if you want any of those people to read your review, let us know, and we can accommodate that.
I gotta work on a voice. I need a voice.
You don't,
Tried the
honestly.
Emperor, but-
You tried that, yeah.
Yeah.
So far, your voice talent has not presented itself. However, there is time.
There is time.
There's always time.
We do have hopefully at least a few years until I die, so maybe I can figure something out until then.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We can get you one of those things that you put on your face. You could do like out of what's his name, Bane.
Oh.
And then we will take Gordon in your door.
We're talking about Star Wars, Batman.
Yeah. So, all right. For upcoming topics, we don't have anything for next week. We're going to be reaching out to the patrons again. So, if you are a
We do have something for next week. We talked about it earlier. He'll remember later.
Yeah, I have no idea. So,
It's fine. But next week, anticipate if you are celebrating Columbus Day or whatever holiday. What a fucking ridiculous holiday. I mean, honestly,
yeah.
Columbus Day.
Yeah.
It's like, as a kid, what do you think they're teaching kids right now about Columbus?
My kids actually, like my son Ben was talking about it a couple days ago, and he's
Yeah?
like, "Yeah, he was an asshole. Like he, killed people, and he was not the good person that."
Brought a bunch of fucking disease to the West
Yeah.
Indies because he never actually fucking made it to mainland.
Right, he
America.
made it to the Caribbean or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
and he named the Indians because he fucking thought he was in India.
Yeah.
Because, because whatever.
Yeah.
Because globes apparently were not very accurate at the time.
Right.
And apparently the Earth is not flat because he didn't sail off the fucking end of it.
Right.
Which is what they
And
thought was gonna
I tell you
happen.
what, the Sofa King guys, they did a really good breakdown of Columbus a couple years ago.
Yeah, part of the Podbelly Network.
Yep. So if you don't listen to the Sofa King podcast, you should definitely do that because they did a fantastic.
Did I take
breakdown.
one of those?
I have no idea. But yeah, they did a great breakdown of Columbus
Who stole my backpack?
and what he was really all about. So go check them out.
Check out all the Podbelly Network.
Yeah, Brent on the show has been a good friend of mine since middle school.
Especially check out the chemtrails one, and you can make fun of Jason because he sounds like an idiot.
Oh my god, whatever. So
You do.
if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel,
Sad that he represented the fucking aviation community on that episode.
if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, we're probably going to be recording 3 episodes next week.
Hence why I brought up Columbus Day,
Right.
otherwise known as a federal holiday for some fucking jackwagon who never discovered America. However, I'll take the day off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And take that day off to potentially have some shelving units
Potentially.
to
Yeah.
display our fucking pod collection.
Yep.
Or pop collection, otherwise known as.
And when he says our, he means his because they're all his. So-
Whatever. There's a lot of Jason shit in here.
There
There's a
is.
lot. There's a smattering of Dave stuff.
Yeah. The
Because
Black
of
Series figures are mine.
because of the edict. Well, not all of them.
Which ones are yours? Oh, well, that one. Oh, I just assumed you were taking that with you. I didn't think you were leaving it here. Because I am going to get my own one of the Mandalorian at some point. It's up to you.
We'll see.
Whatever you want to do.
We'll see what happens. The problem with me taking that home is that if it gets to the house, my Boba Fett is out of the package.
Oh, you're saying the Mando will have to come out of his as well?
Yes. And I don't necessarily want that to happen.
That's a conundrum.
I really want it to happen. I really, really do. Oh my fucking god! I want to open this and play with it so goddamn bad.
You just need to get
I'm
one
a
of the.
child.
You need to get one of the basic figures, just in the black packaging, and fucking open him up. But keep that guy in his package. I don't know. Whatever. Again,
At $25 a pop, man, it's one
ain't
of those.
cheap. But I tell you what.
I didn't pay $25 for this. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
How great would it have been to be like a kid with our amount of fandom now, having the Black Series figures, like potentially
Dude,
being your primary
This
toys?
disposable income alone.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason.
Anyway,
If only. There's
so-
so many toys in here.
So yeah,
Oh my God.
the reason for the multiple recording next week is because I'm going to be out of town for the last month or the last week of October and the first week of November. So we're going to have to front load these and then release them on schedule so the audio people don't get pissed off at us again because we don't release anything for a month.
Oh, and the Used and Abused podcast will be back this Friday with a new episode.
Excellent. Glad to hear it, Scott. Hope the recovery is going well.
Yes.
And that being said, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we are done.
So
We have a little bit of football to talk about after
little
this.
bit. It's actually probably going to be very short, but we will be going live again on YouTube right after this for the YouTube audience. And until next time, thank you, everybody. And Dave, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Abrupt ending. Okay, now what do I click?
All right, stop. Export.
Antonio Shelton. Who? What? Who's Antonio Shelton? Is that a country music singer? I don't know what you're talking about.
Start exporting that.
Every time I start doing a voice, I think about the fucking speech therapist yelling at me for doing fucking voices. I can actually picture my fucking vocal cords like vibrating.
Yeah, I mean,
What
you
the
don't
fuck?
do it that often, at least not on
I
the
do
show.
not. I do not. I'm not like, fuck, I can't do it at home. God. God. How the fuck did that start?
I have no idea.
Oh my fucking God.
All right, so we're stopping the feed. See you guys in a few minutes.
Yep.
Peace, bitches.
Peace.